Was he a cliché? He didn't think so. As Alex Tilem blasted his taxicab at nearly 50 miles per hour down Post Street, a one-way avenue, and one of the fastest of its kind to traverse in all of San Francisco, he laughed out loud in the passengerless vehicle. Yes, the 40-year-old cabbie was recently separated from his cheating 30-year-old wife, and as a result, he threw himself completely into his work. But he wasn't an alky, short for alcoholic. Sure, he had a nip now and then, but he wasn't one of those movie clichés, the hardened, chain-smoking city detective with a permanent 5 o'clock shadow, steely-jawed, who was just divorced from his wife and was a total lush, and somehow also managing to save an entire city, if not a world. None of that stuff. Alex played by the rules. Even on a crazy week like this one in San Francisco, the end of October, leading to the madness of Halloween weekend, he always played by the book. No drinking in his cab by passengers, no drugs, and only playing his radio when his fares got into the car and wanted it on. No conversation either with the customers, again, unless they wanted it. As he approached the financial district, Alex could see that the area was already dead. Like Century City in Los Angeles, it was bustling with cars during the weekdays, and, unlike LA, bustling with people. But after 10 p.m. it was as dead as a ghost town, and cold no matter what time of year. The huge sides of the high-rise office buildings creating wind tunnels, with the current cutting right into your bones, especially during winter. Tilem had just gotten on duty and didn't have a fare, so he figured he'd blast down Post Street to give the car a good run from his home in the avenues on the other side of town. Then a leisurely cruise around the financial district. No people, no cops. No worries, as the kids would say. He had the 24-hour news station on when the news flash came on.
It appears as if there's some kind of invasion going on. There are flashing lights all over the San Francisco skyline, and reports of women being randomly abducted by large gargoyle-like creatures.
The male newsman then joked.
Perfect timing for Halloween, right, folks?
Then, bingo. Halfway down desolate Montgomery Street, Tilem immediately saw the young woman flagging him down on the right side of the street. What the hell is she doing all by herself in this wasteland after 10 p.m., he asked himself, switching off the radio and pulling up to the curb so that she immediately entered the passenger section. She was a long-haired blonde in her early 20s, wearing fairly upscale but nonetheless sensual clothing. Skin-tight black skirt, a loose-fitting pink blouse framed by a shiny, new-looking waist-length black leather jacket, black high heels. When she got into the back of his cab and closed the door behind her, the woman turned around to allow Tilem to catch a full view of her face. She was a beauty, all right. Wavy, shoulder-length blonde hair, large, sensuous lips, a small but well-defined nose, large blue eyes. Her face containing makeup on all parts, but not overdone. The woman definitely had good taste in terms of her upscale clothing and talent for painting herself because it wasn't overdone. She gave him a wide smile, showing off her large, perfectly set teeth as she settled into the car.
Well, hello there,
she said somewhat coquettishly, before giving him a loud
brr
and expressing how cold she was.
It's always this cold between these buildings, even during a warm day,
Tilem said.
Tell me about it,
she said, obviously appreciating Tilem's cozy warm cab.
Where to, lady?
The avenues,
she said.
1448 Taraval Street, right by the ocean.
You got it,
he said, lowering the meter and roaring off towards Market Street, a major thoroughfare. Nice, he thought to himself. Not too far from where I live. Maybe I can grab a quick bite at my place after I drop this babe off.
I'm in no hurry, though,
She almost tartishly told him.
so I don't at all mind the scenic route.
Sure thing.
He figured he'd drive south of Market, where the yuppies now lived in their own high-rises, though not as grand, of course, as the buildings in the financial district.
Working late tonight?
He asked her, looking at the young woman in the rearview mirror.
I suppose you could say that.
She chuckled, looking at her reflection in a compact she pulled out of her dainty purse.
There's always a married gentleman working down here after hours who likes a little company, shall we say?
He looked at her vampish smile. She seemed more than proud of it.
I see,
Tilem said, not wanting to get into it. Then, almost as if she read his mind and wanted to be contrary,
Oh, I don't mind discussing it. It's not what you think, though. I was just meeting with a dear older gentleman friend who happens to sincerely appreciate my company, and his office is oh so comfy.
wanting to change the subject, Tilem told her that about the news flash he just heard on the radio.
Something that kind of reminded me of that famous Orson Welles broadcast of War of the Worlds back in the 1930s.
He stated.
Orson Welles? Broadcast?
She said the word as if it was offensive somehow.
Yeah, you never heard of it?
Well, if it was in the 30s, then it was well before my time.
She leaned closer to him with a wolfish grin.
Well before your time, I'm assuming, too.
Tilem laughed.
You're right there. What it was, this fella, Orson Welles, was an actor, and he did this version of Herbert George Wells's, no relation, book, The War of the Worlds, on the radio. The book was about the Martians invading our planet. It was a harmless, just for fun science fiction radio special, but it was really well produced, realistic. I mean, he was doing the show as if the invasion were really happening. Extremely realistic. Well, what happened was, a lot of people all over the country tuned into this program during the middle of the show, and they thought the Earth really was being invaded by Martians. Created absolute chaos, total havoc in some part of the states. Some people even committed suicide. Better dead than red, I guess.
He laughed.
Huh?
She gave him that same somewhat offended look. It was just that she didn't get the joke. Not that it was much of a joke, Tilem thought.
Oh, nothing,
He added.
but it was just strange. The news flash reminded me of the War of the Worlds thing. I've only heard snippets of the show on golden age of radio programs late at night.
The cab crossed over Market Street and headed towards the more industrial section on the south side. The woman replaced the compact into her purse, settled further back, and introduced herself with that same marvelously broad smile.
My name's Laura Spencer. What's yours?
Alex,
He said, glancing at her in the mirror.
Alex Tilem.
Pleased to meet you. You know, you're a very handsome man for your age.
Alex laughed at the way she used the term your age, as if you were a dinosaur.
Thanks.
He said, trying to sound as sincere as he could, before she seemed to read his mind again.
Oh, I didn't mean it as an insult, Alex. I like older men, handsome ones especially.
Thanks.
I'm guessing you're about 35, right?
Close. On the wrong side of 35. The big 4-0.
She clapped her hands and laughed with glee.
Wonderful, you're the perfect age.
That was a strange statement, he thought.
Perfect age?
Yes, I just love men in their 40s. They have a history behind them. They have something to talk about. A life, a background, an identity. These guys my age, all they want to do is jump your bones. Know what I mean?
As she said that, she adjusted her blouse, showing more of her ample cleavage. You could tell she had large breasts, but again, like her makeup, they weren't overly so. Her body and face were nothing short of delicious, Tilem thought. They saw a few oddly dressed pedestrians running along the sidewalk. One was dressed like Count Dracula, mirthfully chasing a young woman dressed like Wonder Woman, who screamed with delight as she was losing the chase.
Isn't that cute?
Laura said with no small degree of sarcasm.
Children, children.
Guess they're just having some fun.
Tilem replied, smiling at the innocence of the young adults, which Laura had apparently found immature, even though she was close to their age. Suddenly, there was a blast of light in the sky, almost blinding Tilem, as if a gigantic camera had just taken his picture.
Ouch!
He shouted, covering his eyes with his right arm, while keeping his left hand on the wheel. The light caused him to see double for an instant, before things got back to normal.
What was that?
Laura alarmingly asked.
I don't know. They were talking on the news about lights flashing in the sky and gargoyle-like monsters carrying off women.
Tilem laughed, trying to calm Laura down. He saw her alarmed face in the mirror.
Like I said, just a joke, no sweat.
He actually had no idea what the bizarre flash was about.
Maybe just a thunderstorm.
He told her reassuringly. She calmed down soon enough, settling back into her seat and smiling at him.
You make me feel safe, Alex,
she said, with a combination of smile and smirk.
I knew I liked you right away. I'm very good with first impressions.
Good to hear.